Okay, so people asked, how do you spot an outlier? What's an outlier when you start dealing with regression and two quantitative variables? How can you determine what an outlier is? Is it just something that's far away from the rest of the data, or is there something else going on? So I'm at the Rossmann Chance applet. This is their regression applet, and a couple of things I did. I'm just using the data they provided. Just so that you know that you can do this, I checked moved observations. That's going to let me grab a point and drag it, and I had it show me the regression equation. And here's the regression equation. And then it had it show me the correlation coefficient R. So what happens if I grab this point? Actually, let's grab this point here. That's right on the regression equation. What if we could, that's definitely not an outlier, right? Because it's in there. So what I want you to do is I'm moving this around, pay attention to the correlation coefficient, and yes, things will change, but also look at the regression equation, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this up, and I'm going to try to keep it in about the same, I'm going to try to keep it in about the same direction as the data. I don't want to move it a lot. See, that's kind of in the same data. Notice it's, yes, that is far away from the rest of the data. And what is this? Let's see, the regression is 0.96. What if I just revert it? Now it's 0.7. So I would argue that 0.9, the difference between a correlation of 0.9, yes, it's much stronger relationship, stronger linear relationship. And 0.7 really isn't all that different. And it certainly didn't change the regression equation all that much. But if I go the other way, what if I drag it off this way? See, the correlation staying positive. Whoops, it's hard to do. Yeah, that's away from the rest of the data. Let's move it down so it's more or less in line. There we go. Correlation only went up about 1/10, and the regression equation isn't all that different. So what this point that I'm moving this is not an outlier. I mean, you might argue this is an influential point because it is increasing the correlation. If I remove that, it would be a weaker correlation, but it's not an outlier because it's following the same trend. It's not changing things that much. What if, though, I drag it this way? Okay, notice how it really dropped the correlation. I mean, now that correlation is almost, getting closer and closer to 0. But if I drag it the other way, notice it changed it, so it's a negative correlation now. So this is an outlier because it's far away from the rest of the data in the X direction, and it drastically changes that correlation and the regression equation. It changes it from a positive slope to a negative slope. So that's how you can tell what an outlier is from a scatter plot. And sometimes they're hard to tell. I mean, like if I drag that point down here, yeah, it's just changing it quite a bit. Yeah, so that's kind of the same thing. But is that an outlier? I don't know. It is dropping it quite a bit. It's away from the rest of the data in the X direction, not so much in the Y, but certainly in the X. So I would call that an outlier too. That's something going on. Okay, so hopefully that helps you decide what an outlier is when you're looking at these scatter plots.